Hi, and welcome to the Intellectual Adventure Podcast. Today, we're jumping into the subject of the elements around us. Chad joins us on the show with myself as we dive into discovering what elements form our favorites list when we come together in this discussion. So, we each have 7 elements to bring to the table today, and hope that you can discover some facts about some elements as we discover what makes them unique to us. So, Chad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well today. I've been having a pretty relaxing couple days, but just sort of resting up from the week and been getting really into some sort of anthropology study of ancient humans has been really sort of piquing my interest, and it sort of influenced the tail end of my list today. So I'm sort of excited to get to talk about those at the end.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a good discussion on what unique properties each of these elements carry because there's just so many elements on the chart that half of them I struggle to even recognize myself
Yeah.
on what their properties are. There's always something of excitement to science and discovering, even at an older age, it doesn't change the fact that science is a unique subject to talk on.
And I always love to sort of get to learn about and experience sort of the influence of elements on history and on daily life and on our lives. It's very interesting to really look at it, take a step back and look at how much we really do use the earth. We use it for everything. It's very interesting. Yeah, how different elements have changed or shaped trajectories.
No, I think that's a good point to bring up, and especially when it comes to youth picking up science and the benefit of knowing different aspects to it. It's the building blocks of the life around us. So
Hmm.
having more understanding of that is going to improve your perspective on you know treating that different different element with respect to how it's found within nature. You know, some of these elements are really rare,
Yeah.
and we can't just willy nilly with using them on every project. There's select minerals and iron, or sorry, metals that tend to be more prominent than others in our daily lives. So all culminates into something really fascinating.
Oh yeah.
I think it's time to transition us into the comments. Small group today, but we should have people coming in. It's just the middle of summer and everyone's out doing things.
It's true.
um, we'll hopefully have Outcast joining us next week.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't. He's got a croaky throat today, so he apologizes that he couldn't make it. But I'm excited to see him and Toenail and Dank come back. Different different people on the panel that when their time opens back up and we are able to time it out well. Those discussions are always fun.
Oh yeah. No, I'm excited for when we can get a bigger group going on and really get a good back and forth going. I always really like it when we get to do that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good practice to open up to those kinds of conversations. Let that naturally take course, and I definitely learn a lot from the interactions within those. So to more of that in the future,
Hmm.
um, we just need to take certain steps to get to that point, and I know we will soon. So I want to invite you to display what vinyl you brought today.
Oh yeah. So today, we just recently listened to this one too, and I really enjoyed it. The one and only Billy Strange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good vinyl.
Mm-hmm. No, I like the pose he's making. I love the time. I love the time. The time frame that this was printed.
Yeah, it's a pretty bare bones vinyl. Like
Oh
there's
yeah.
not much information.
Yeah.
Uh, it is definitely from the 70s.
Sometimes the sleeve. Nope, not on the sleeve. But yeah.
I enjoy that vinyl as well.
There we go. Yeah.
It
I
may
think it.
not be worth much, but it sure is
It has.
worth the pleasure you will get out of
Oh yeah.
it.
It just has character.
It
Green
does.
boomer. Yeah, Allentown jail stranger. It just has character. I like it.
Oh yeah, and there, I'll do a close up too.
Oh yeah,
I kind of forgot to.
yeah. No worries. No,
Yeah, look at that.
I just
It is
really.
cool.
It's just the style. It's the style. It's the attitude.
Yeah, it is a prominent pose. And
Mm-hmm.
he's got the guitar facing, back away from you.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those vinyls where you can't read it without going, "The one and only Billy Strange." It's every time I see it, I think that. I can't think of any other way to say it.
Yeah, it's like showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Thanks for sharing that today, Chad. And uh,
Yeah.
we're going in. We got a late start today. We were talking with Jeff, but he had to evacuate himself from his house to go to church. Engagement outpost. The periodic table.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to move into the trial because I don't know what else to say. But for one, we're not arch scientists here. We're
No.
not reinventing or questioning the stability of the periodic table. I'm not here to do that. That's a little out of my pay grade for the science that I've known. But for what base that we have, the periodic table is the best available knowledge that I know. Other than the fifth element that Jeff wanted to mention, which is the aether. And that is AETHER if you want to look at it yourself. But I have not studied that yet. I think it's an interesting topic to be had. And I want to definitely look into it. But we're going off of periodic table without that. So just for any clarification for periodic table fanatics out there, I know that you do exist, even though it's not many. A lot of people are scared by the periodic table. I find it fascinating, though. I don't know about you, Chad, if it's more fascinating or intimidating.
I find it fascinating. I like to stare at it, look at it, and think about the way that all of these things on this grid make up everything that we know, and they're all building blocks, each one of them.
Absolutely. I think that's the most important thing is seeing how it pertains to life around you.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
like plants need nitrogen and obviously oxygen and certain elements, to thrive in the environments that they're trying to survive in.
yeah,
When you have a plant that can't move, they need to utilize all the stuff that's naturally in that environment. So that's the whole premise of evolution at the root.
yeah.
I love to see that dynamic within what we've discovered. And I think the elements that we're bringing to the table today, excuse me, I think the elements that we're bringing to the table today are going to be of good quality for today's discussion because they're elements we all have daily interactions with. So, Chad, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, we're gonna go with, I think, an element we both can agree is a pretty prominent element.
Oh yeah.
Carbon. We are carbon. You is carbon. That is carbon. Okay. It's carbon or die. Like, there's so many science jokes about carbon. I don't even know them all.
I know.
But you know what? There's going to be enough carbon, hopefully sustained, to figure out how many carbon jokes can be made about carbon. It's a cycle. It's cyclical.
It's the carbon cycle.
Yeah, carbon is a strong element. It's pretty even.
Yeah.
That's kind of its biggest strength, but it's also just it
And it's
likes
good.
to build.
Yeah, it's good at forming matrices.
Yeah. So I like, if there's any element that's a building block element, I would definitely say carbon is it. Like that's like a base or a keystone element.
Yeah.
It's just like hydrogen or oxygen in that
Hmm.
regard. Like those three right there, so much life comes from it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting to see what life did with building blocks around it.
Absolutely.
How it just somehow formed. Yeah.
It's breathtaking to analyze and see. And excuse me. The next element that we have is going to showcase really the vast difference between the structure. I thought this is a cool representation due to how different they are.
Yeah.
But bismuth, Chad, this is your number one pick. Why did you choose this?
So bismuth to me one of the most is one of the most just beautiful elements in its pure form. If you look at, because bismuth is a metal, and it when it forms when it hardens from a melted from melting, and as it forms into a solid, it forms beautiful bismuth crystals, which are these geometric shapes that are, it's like there's lots of 90-degree angles, and 90-degree angles fascinate me in nature because they're not as common as you think. And so it's always cool to see perfect 90-degree angles in nature. And the color that bismuth takes on is also very, to me it's just beautiful. It's a very beautiful element to me, and it's very in its raw form. But the other reason I think it's really interesting is that it has medicinal properties to it. Of that, if you've ever heard of Pepto Bismol actually does have bismuth in it, and so bismuth, somehow, it's not, a super common stomach, relief agent, but it does relieve stomach pain and stomach acid and things like that. And so it's just interesting that a metal that not only forms beautiful geometric rainbow colored crystals also cures, stomach ailment. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, quite an amazing element right there.
If you yeah, we could pull up, look at pictures of bismuth crystals, or check out Nile Red has a good video. There's the bismuth smith. There's just lots of, and it can be molded and formed. It's a very interesting metal to me. Not super influential. You might not, see it, but it's just a very, to me, interesting metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
check this out. Just gorgeous.
It's just a nutty crystal form. Like, it's just, other crystals don't take that form. It's very
No,
interesting.
no, they do not. It's unique in that regard,
Hmm.
and especially when you see, the the corners, how square the corners are.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking geometrically perfect. Some cool stuff right there.
Yeah.
That brings us into our next, which would be iodine. Iodine is just basically, from my knowledge, mostly a very well, it obviously can clean water. It's iodine itself. I'm not sure all of the uses, but I know it's used in all sorts of things.
Yeah, it is used in a lot of reactions.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Like,
one really interesting thing about iodine is that it does like actually fume. Like iodine is, I think it's like iodine and bromine will fume. Not a lot of elements will do that.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, tinctures. You can disinfect wounds and skin.
Hmm.
So that's just iodine and alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, there's radioactive iodine that's used in thyroid cancer treatment. Um, yeah, it's added to table salt to prevent iodine deficiency. And if you have that, it leads to goiter, which is an abnormal enlargement of the thyroid gland.
Interesting.
Strange.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that would happen. I know that I just always forget that you can have a deficiency in iodine like that.
Yeah. I had forgotten how much, well, not how much, but how I had forgotten that our bodies needed iodine that much.
Yeah, it's that's the beautiful thing about looking at all these things is you can learn about your body more, the
Hmm.
more that you understand how these things affect it. And if you're in the grocery store and you start linking two and two together,
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to be eating certain things that have this high value in your diet that
Hmm.
maybe cause discomfort. But very neat stuff. It also is a paint preserver.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, iodine tablets was the main thing that I could think. The iodine is the practicality of having that ability to go in and take this element and essentially live off of what that element's providing.
Yeah.
But to our next metal that can't really clean water with.
No. Mercury. So mercury. Mercury to me is always neat. Just it. Of course, it captures our attention. It's a metal. It's a liquid. It's a liquid metal at room temperature. And that gives it these really interesting properties that have been utilized throughout history. In things like thermostats, and list goes on of various technologies that were like, if you ever take apart a mercury thermostat, it's always really interesting to see. All it's doing is just creating, as the temperature rises and it expands. When it expands, you know it touches two pieces of metal and creates a circuit. It's really simple, but it's really interesting to see how the use of mercury has affected history, and that it is toxic, and it's not super good for us, and it's not super good to have that much liquid mercury you know in production and in an industrial setting. But It's really interesting too that, a lot of seafood has mercury in it. And the thing that I really like about mercury, and I think is really cool, is what it does to, other metals, because it wants to form, amalgamations with metals. And so it'll actually like eat away metals, and it forms these really interesting structures sometimes. Like if you combine it with aluminum, it forms a really interesting crystal structure as it tries to eat the aluminum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree. Like the way mercury reacts with other metals is mind blowing.
Yeah. And it does it with gold too. Can react
Yeah,
with gold. Yeah.
yeah, they used to try to discover gold by using mercury
Mhm.
to hold down the gold flakes, and they'd sluice box it, and that's why a lot of the river deposits have mercury
Mhm.
in certain places where the gold rush happened. Some places are obviously worse than others, but it's pretty crazy to think that they were just jamming liquid metal in the river, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. We're all a little crazy, right?
Yeah.
I play with this stuff in my hands. Why not? Yeah, Mercury's had a long history of poisoning people. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very neat substance when it pertains to anthropology.
Mhm.
A good choice. Um, that brings us into the next one, which is the one, the only crazy element, man. The phosphorus is the stuff that you'll find on the end of matches. And it's, in all sorts of chemical compounds, including apparently a bronze compound they made in the 1870s called phosphor bronze, which is just a better quality bronze, so to speak, when it comes to the durability of it.
Interesting.
But um, phosphorus was discovered in 1670 by a man boiling his piss for like a month for science trying to find gold, and ended up finding this white glow in the dark substance that he called cold fire at a point. And I believe that's because it does ignite blue, but I could be wrong. I want to look that up, actually. It produces bright white light. That's right.
I see. Yeah, that sounds more
Yeah,
right.
that does sound right.
Mhm.
White phosphorus is highly flammable. So yeah, that's the other um that's like when it's refined. It's not naturally white phosphorus, I believe. But the base element of course is phosphorus.
Yeah.
But point being, yes, this was produced by a man in the 1670s by trying to find gold with his piss.
And now it's used for all sorts of things.
Yeah, including everyday matches.
Mhm.
So it's quite a game changer, honestly. But one of the funniest elements, in my opinion, to be
No.
on the chart.
Oh yeah, good pick.
And that pertains to our survival podcast recently.
Mhm.
Gonna need a lot of piss sticks.
Yep.
All right. Magnesium.
Oh yeah. So I really like magnesium because it's one of the metals that, in there with sodium, which I think is on your list. And a lot of these metals in their pure form, the it's the alkaline metals, if I'm correct. They
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know there's one other. I can't quite remember because there's alkaline and then there's one more that are very similar, but I can't remember but either way, these metals that you can, at their pure form, you can cut them with a knife. I just think that's neat. So it's cool to like like if you see people do that in videos, always really satisfying. But magnesium, I mean, it is harder than most of those metals, but magnesium is highly flammable, so you can use it to start fires, and that's a lot of the experience that I've had with it. And so I really, this metal has a special place in my heart. But really, yeah, really just an interesting metal that you can interact with, that you can go and buy from a store. You can buy it in any camping store or any camping section, and you can handle magnesium, cut magnesium, and then light it on fire. It's just a really cool element that we get to play with as regular people.
Yeah, check this out. I was kind of trying to find a cool photo of the magnesium structure,
Ooh, yeah, I haven't seen as many magnesium crystals.
right?
Yeah.
No, this is a pretty crazy looking thing going on here. A way less rigid, you know,
Mm-hmm.
from the bismuth.
Yeah. A lot more flowing, but still
Yeah,
but still sharp and defined. Really cool.
very fascinating. Something I've never really seen in nature.
Yeah. And Cameron's seen a lot of rocks, let's be real.
Yeah, I don't know where you'd even find magnesium. Like, I gotta look that up.
Yeah. No, seriously.
So let's see. Importance of magnesium for man plants. Chemical. Oh, that's weird. Okay, hold on. The essential forgotten mineral. So
Yeah.
interesting. There's this. What is this? This might be interesting to read. Let me click on this. We're in
It's like
full exploration mode right now.
is this like a magnesium conspiracy?
This is. Oh, let's. It's like a food thing here.
Mm.
So we'll see if this is actually. We'll read this together. Let's put it that way. I'm up for this. So, essential forgotten mineral. Magnesium is a mineral needed by every cell of your body. That's believable though, because foods are high in magnesium.
Yeah.
So I guess that's really magnesium's got to be just mostly yeah, it's a mineral. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just found in soil and stuff. So there's just got to be better soil deposits that have higher magnesium in them naturally.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, researchers found that 46% of the patients admitted to an intensive care unit, they had deficiency. The cancer rate was only about 10% in Egypt. They had an extremely high magnesium intake, 2.5 to 3 grams, which is 10 times higher than most of the Western countries.
Oh, good. Coffee's on the list. I don't have a magnesium deficiency.
Yes. Swiss chard, though. That's really cool to know Swiss chard is high in magnesium.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's a really good. Have you ever had Swiss chard?
I don't think so.
Okay. I have to show you Swiss chard.
Is a plant?
It is. You will probably recognize the leaf. It is commonly used in like restaurant salads for its vibrancy.
Yeah.
But it also kind of looks like rhubarb.
Oh, maybe I do know what this is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it does look like rhubarb.
It's trippy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you can eat the stalk and everything. It's fine. Swiss
I
chard
probably
has a
have
bite.
eaten that before.
It's spicy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the leaves are spicy.
Interesting.
Like, let me like, what is the flavor of Swiss chard? Mild, sweet, and earthy flavor with a subtle bitterness, but it's mellowed when cooked. So it kind of tastes like beets
Okay.
or almost like a radish type of
Yeah,
spiciness.
I do like radishes.
Yeah, dude. Swiss chard is really, really good for you. Um, but I digress. That's a good digress. So that is magnesium.
Yeah.
And that's probably what gives it its hearty structure because it's a very rigid. That stem
Yeah.
structure is very rigid.
Lot of mineral in that to keep it that way, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Leads us into our next one. Oh yeah, that is right. Another important one. Sodium.
Oh boy.
Well, there I know there's going to be a trillion uses. Sodium is just it's it's essential. I mean, we can't really sustain life without sodium either.
Yeah.
There's
And it's very reactive too in its metal form.
Yep, it helps our muscles contract, helps our cells uptake nutrients and water, helps our nerves carry messages between the body and the brain, balances our body's fluids and regulates blood pressure. Like all that is without sodium, we'd be in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah.
So quite amazing to see just at the base level um, what sodium provides us, but when it comes to things around us, like it's used in productions of metals, and you have all sorts of different. Oh yeah, sorry. What's up, Red? Had no idea you were joining. Um, but sodium is just a really, really important thing to respect in society because
Yeah. If
I
we
mean,
want to bring it to a historical standpoint, bring in another, sodium chloride, and that is a huge historical driver. That salt has been present in our history and our diets for millennia.
yeah, yeah. Salt is the foundation of societies.
Hmm.
I mean,
A man
there's
worth his salt.
yeah, and
People used to be
you
paid in it.
exactly.
Yeah.
There used to be wars over salt,
Hmm.
so it's something to keep in mind when trying to go on long trips or whatnot, especially backpacking. That hey,
Yeah.
don't forget about your salt.
Oh yeah. And if you take in bits of really good salt, such as like sea salt, Himalayan salt, list goes on. I wish Jeff Sochek was here. He would enlighten all of us.
Yep.
But that those forms of salt are really good ways to replenish electrolytes, and they're good for your body. It's really interesting.
No, it really, really is. And salt, excuse me, sodium is just one of those things you're gonna have to look at the uses because I mean, it's used in paper, wood, water softening,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah. Food preservation, huge use for it.
Extremely fascinating stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Without salt, we would not be where we are in the modern world.
Nope.
Hands down.
I just had salt because it freaked me out so much about salt deficiency that my body's like, eat salt. So I just had
Must intake. Yeah.
canned, yeah, 10 out of 10.
Hmm. Look at that little
Man,
guy.
look at that. Yeah, that
Hydrogen.
little most basic element there is.
Yep. No, I love hydrogen. Hydrogen, just a really neat, explosive element. And our sun is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium, and so it's hydrogen is a huge life-giving element. It the fact that the sun is in a constant explosive state that provides life to a planet that's a certain distance away from it, not too far, not too close. It's a miracle and it's amazing, and it's due to hydrogen. And also, whenever humans play around with hydrogen, it always seems to get intense, like the Hindenburg, or when people fill balloons with them.
Yes. Yes. Not the best look for hydrogen, but
No, but hydrogen is a hugely important element to life.
it definitely helps keep things afloat.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Yeah, but stick to helium. Yeah,
Yes.
little better than that. And hydrogen though, it's a cool one.
It was a tough choice between hydrogen and helium, but to me, hydrogen just carries more magnetism. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun to say. I mean,
Well, there's so
helium is
much
not
of it.
fun to say.
No, helium is, but it does make you sound funny, which is an honorable mention.
That is true. Helium. That is an honorable mention for helium.
And argon gas does the same thing, but makes your voice lower.
Yeah.
I believe it's argon.
I think it
Don't
is.
huff weird gases.
No, we don't recommend it, but it is funny.
It is funny.
Mhm.
I think calcium is not a gas.
No.
Calcium is definitely something you don't want to inhale. Let's see. Calcium is cool for various reasons. It's obviously a core prominent mineral for our bodies and
Yeah.
many animals
Yeah.
out in nature. But
Animals that form shells and hard structures on their body need lots of calcium to do that. It's very interesting.
yeah, and apparently reading here there's like hormone releases that need calcium to release the hormones. And it's important for blood clotting.
Hmm.
So there's all sorts of things that calcium helps to create structure with, which is why I find it so fascinating, because it's one of those things that we all know we need it,
Yeah.
that it's around us, but you just hardly ever see it. Um, yeah, it's just yeah. I guess you do see it because it's like pink. I don't know.
Hmm. Well,
I don't know how to say it.
I know it has to do with our bone structure and our formation of keratin and things like that. And it is just an important building. It's another building block, and it's an important one to have inside of our bodies to be able to form the structures we need. Oh, beautiful! Look at that.
Yeah,
I think crystal structures are just amazing. That so many elements form those.
and yeah, overuse of steroids affects calcium. I
Mm.
didn't know that.
Yeah, because I know you can get a calcium deficiency. I know that can happen to people.
Yeah, no, that it definitely does. That's part of the role of a doctor is to
Hmm.
help help see where your body's maintaining. If you're really someone that's not drinking milk or doing certain things, that will affect your body in a different way.
Yeah.
And someone who is, but that's a beautiful element right there too.
Yes, I agree. I like calcium. I like drinking milk.
And calcium's just cool.
Hmm.
Everything about it's cool. It's a soft, and I mean, I don't know if you've ever touched calcium crystals, but they're really soft.
Interesting. I have
So
not touched calcium crystals. Like
yeah,
waxy soft or like.
well, it's kind of like it's really is similar to a salt lamp.
Okay.
Um, it kind of feels like quartz, but acts like rock candy, but just a
Interesting.
little bit of a harder rock candy. So
Okay.
theoretically, you could chisel it off really easily, crush it down to powder, and chew it. I
I
would
can
think.
imagine. Yeah, I can
Yep.
imagine that.
Yeah, think about like a seashell. Like you
Yeah.
could theoretically grind that down and chew that, and if you really needed calcium. So, man, yeah, talk about perfect place to find calcium is the sea,
Yeah. Yeah.
littered with it. Also, would not recommend grinding random shells up and chewing them though. It's probably not the healthiest diet to start with.
No, that would be like lost on an island.
Yes.
No help in sight.
Yeah, Wilson's the only person.
Mhm.
That moves us forward though to our next element. Yeah, no, that's a good point, Red. When the tooth is chipped, powdered calcium. I never thought about that, but
Yeah.
that does make a lot of sense. This guy right here, believe. Let's see. That's your nitrogen. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nitrogen to me just an interesting gas because we did just talk about hydrogen a little bit, but on the flip side, nitrogen is very non-reactive. It doesn't. It's inert. It's an inert gas, and we it's used in a lot of cases where when a metal wants to oxidize, it can be replaced with either nitrogen or argon. So if you have, so say you're trying to smelt a metal or trying to make a metal amalgamation. And if one of the metals in there wants to form an oxidizing layer, you fill the space around it with either nitrogen or argon, and it won't form that layer. And so, and my Cameron and I have used it at work in HVAC. When we braze or when we weld together our copper lines, we fill those copper lines with nitrogen to prevent a bad oxygen layer forming on the inside of the copper pipe to keep the refrigerant clean. So just another element that I've used in my daily life that has purpose and has a function through its own inertness, through its own ability to not do anything with the things around it. It's very interesting to me. Also makes up a huge part of our atmosphere, so we get to breathe it every day. It's just space, just matter.
It is. No, I have a perfect way to summarize how nitrogen inspires the HVAC world. I have a perfect photo. Here we go. Oops. Oh, that's right. I can just replace. I forget about that.
Yep. We call it nitrojane from time to time.
Yeah, check this out.
Yep, every day.
It's great. The next element. Boom.
Nice. Silicon.
Silicon. Silicon is a core element to silica, making glass, and silicone, the worst caulking substance there ever was invented in the world, but somehow is useful terribly. So yeah, silicon kind of sucks at the fact that you shouldn't eat it, but silicon, I believe, is used by plants,
Yeah.
ironically.
One of the most harmful substances is liquid silica because if you get it in your eye, you just go blind. It just
Yes.
you just go blind. So yeah, silica is yeah, not good for you. Not good to
No.
breathe. Not good to have in your body.
Oh, and it strengthens plants' tissue.
Nifty.
It improves resistance to various stresses and boosts nutrients uptake. So it's a micronutrient, um, essentially for plants.
Okay.
Yeah, it can help a plant resist falling over, especially though,
Hmm.
like rice and sugarcane.
Interesting.
So like
grasses.
sandy or really clay, silty soil can be really good for certain plants, but other plants really don't use that stuff. So like a squash, I don't really think a squash cares much.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna grow.
Yeah. They just that's their whole shtick.
Like water, 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 water.
Mm-hmm.
What like what? Let's see. What are so? Let's say a squash plant. They want to grow. They need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Yeah, the pretty standard mix.
Yeah.
Um,
Another great mention for silicone, huge building block for technology as well.
yeah,
Made
no, it's very
advancements
true.
of technology due to silicone.
Right.
Hmm.
And yeah, I look at the micronutrients, so it's spot on. It's not
Nice.
it's not needed. They can use calcium, magnesium, sulfur, iron, and zinc, but they do not benefit from silicon. So
Hmm.
that means that's why you don't see squash in really clayey soil
Yeah.
as much naturally. It's just it's going to tend to gravitate less towards needing that. Other plants will overtake it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't really know though. That's
I'm sure you.
farming's always a active discussion of learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, you can imagine it's like lots of stocky plants. I'm sure need that silicone. I mean, I'm just like thinking through a lot of plants in my head that need to stand up straight like that. That don't
Like
have convention.
horsetails.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those things are like Legos.
Mm-hmm.
You can link them together and pop them out. Like, I could totally see that having a silicone property. You know,
Mm-hmm.
crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I had no idea plants use silicone at all. Really,
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
it is amazing. Yeah, I did not know that.
Let's see. I gotta close some of these tabs. Hold on. I have HVAC memes and all sorts of stuff open now. There we go. Okay, our next one. Speaking of HVAC,
Oh boy. Yeah. Copper to me is just a really cool uh a really cool element and a really cool metal in the sense of that it has been a building metal. It creates structure around it and it's readily available. The copper, copper kicked off the Bronze Age. Copper was one of the first metals that humans really learned how to master and how to use, just because it has a lower melting temperature than other metals, but still dries hard enough to be a workable tool. And in HVAC, we used copper quite a bit because all of our line sets are made of copper. And but and also and copper, well, while it used, it is readily available, but it is still expensive. It still carries a price to it. I mean, those line sets are not cheap. So it's interesting that a simple, readily available, workable metal in history that kicked off lots of forms of technology and lots of forms of civilization through being combined with tin, then you get bronze. And I'm sure lots of people have heard of the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age was a pretty prolific time in human history in terms of advancement and society and the building of that. And not to mention, one thing I love about copper is that copper in its crystalline form and in its and can take on this beautiful blue hue to it that is this deep, like lapis, like deep blue that looks to me very pretty. And not to mention the use of copper chemically. It's used chemically in the purification of gold. A lot of it's really interesting that a lot we come back to gold a lot in terms of chemistry and alchemy and history. But copper to me is one of those metals that stands out in history and stands out to me.
yeah, I would totally agree with that. And um, having the natural colors occurring with the copper is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, absolute trip. Um, the next element is it kind of stinks.
Sulfur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know it. You love it. Sulfur's another one though that affects plants. Did you know that?
I did know that. I did know plants are affected by that.
Yeah. Now its effect is yeah, yeah. It's more of a chemical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Metabolism for the plant, disease resistance, yield. So like yeah, you can get a better yield for your crops if you have sulfur. Um, it's really important that with these nutrients and stuff that's where farming really is crazy to me is learning how to time the nutrients with that crop. Just learning how that plant interacts with it.
Yeah.
That's something you have to actually study. You can't just throw things on it and expect it to just. I mean, some plants you kind of can, but
Yeah.
like potatoes and stuff, they're pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just kind of grow either way, but it's a funny thing to think on. Yeah, the smell of sulfur.
Very
Smell of sulfur
recognizable
is
smell.
probably one of the most iconic ones. Yeah, especially because we produce it.
Yeah.
So it makes the world go around. Um, but I would say sulfur is one of my favorites because of the way it burns, and sometimes you can naturally find sulfur rocks, and that was one thing when you crystal dig that you can find sometimes is sulfur.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, always cool to randomly smell. I've done this has happened to me. I've randomly smelled sulfur while I'm like out on a mountain hiking around. It's like it's really interesting to sort of smell that and be like, dude, it's like especially in Oregon because it's very volcanic out here. But sulfur, uh, to me, is also cool because it can also it has some medicinal property. It can be formed chemically into form of antibiotic. So I think that's cool as well. Always
Oh
cool
yeah,
how
it can be
much.
an antibiotic too, huh?
Hmm. Yeah, like a sulfa drug. Not super commonly used anymore, but throughout history, it's been used.
Yeah, sulfonamides,
Yeah.
a class of antibiotics that contain sulfur, bacterial infections like UTIs,
Hmm.
ear infection. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense why eardrops stink.
Yeah.
Actually, they probably have a lot of sulfur.
Hmm.
Oh, so it inhibits the production of folic acid, which is a nutrient for bacteria. Yeah, that's trippy. I never knew that with
Yeah.
sulfur.
No, sulfur is cool. I think it's cool that sulfur has use in the medicinal field, but it also kicked off an entire course of history through warfare.
Yeah, I know it's
This is
something
crazy.
of life and death. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy stuff. One element that we don't have in our list that is interesting for its reactions too is chlorine,
Oh yeah.
or chloride. I forget. I think it's chlorine though.
It is chlorine.
Um,
It becomes chloride depending
Chloride.
on what it's in.
Yeah.
It could act
So
like that, like sodium chloride.
exactly.
But chlorine, yeah, trippy element.
Yeah.
Really
Another
interesting.
one. Yeah. Just like hydrogen can be a beautiful compound for the natural life around us, or one of the deadliest things if used wrong.
Yeah, it can be a gas and kill you, or it can be in your swimming pool and keep
Yep.
all the gross
Poison.
stuff out of it. Yeah.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, never been a huge fan of swimming pools because I don't like the way chlorine makes me feel. I always feel not right after I'm in a pool. but that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm. I
It's
like to swim in lakes and rivers.
yeah, that makes sense too. They import sulfur from Canada and Mexico.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
Interesting.
really good to bring that up, Red. Because yeah, I know we have some sulfur deposits, but I I think a lot of it we just don't want to touch
Yeah.
because of the ring of fire kind of thing.
I do. Yeah. And I mean, all the places I've smelled sulfur out, they are like, volcanic regions. It's not like we want to
Yeah.
like go out and mine into some of those places.
Yeah, probe the boiling earth. That
Yeah.
sounds scary.
Hmm.
But our last element on the list is, you could say, a pretty stable one to talk on.
Yeah. Iron. Iron to me, iron and copper go hand in hand. Of that, iron was the next step in the human's mastery of metal and the burgeoning of technology and the new onset of a new age for humanity was kicked off by iron. And so, really interesting, a readily available metal that combines well with other metals to make strong structures such as steel, where iron may have kicked off a huge historical age um for humanity, but so did steel. I mean, so many things that we use today are made of steel. Bridges, buildings, list goes on. I could talk forever about things that steel is a huge part of, and it would not be possible without iron. And uh yeah, a hugely important element to humanity.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. And iron's also got one of those iconic tastes.
Yeah, that's another thing. Iron is hugely important to our bodies. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and iron in its natural form looks pretty cool too.
Hmm.
Like, let's see, iron ore. And I'm sure most people know what iron ore looks like, but
Yeah,
it's
it's not uncommon to stumble upon it, especially if you like to be into rocks.
yep, yeah, good old iron ore.
Nice.
That's how it can look, but excuse me, most times you'll see it vibrant red because it's oxidized, and obviously, iron does not like oxygen very much.
Hmm.
So you end up with stuff like this. But you hardly ever get pure iron. Ores just don't work like that.
Yeah.
You get a conglomerate of quartz, or which is silicate, and so essentially silicon, you know, formed in. Just super neat to see the natural structures though.
Yeah.
If you study any of the gold mining and just the extraction methods before, like how they would use the stamp mills to crush the ores up and divide the different types of elements from each other. It's
Yeah.
it's quite the innovation to for the times.
Yeah. Even just outside my door, that one thing that Cameron and I harvested at one point was a piece of quartz and silver ore, and I have it chilling out in front of my doorstep.
Yeah, man. Someday someone's gonna come find that. They're gonna be
Yeah.
like, silver.
Silver. Yeah.
Oh, I did find out that um, person I was hanging out with, he said that they his oil drill his oil drill crew was on National Geographic because they were drilling in like Minnesota or something, or I forget exactly where, but he did say that they struck four, like a gold nugget that was 4 feet long
Wow.
and like 2 feet wide or something. It was just a solid piece of gold too.
That's
I was like,
crazy.
that thing's got to be worth a fortune, man.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But yeah, his crew discovered that. I was like, damn, dude. But it goes to show how all these elements can be in random places and thrown around. The way he explained it is you get these old rock beds, old stream beds under the ground. You just don't know what you're going into when you go that far down.
Yeah.
It's like 8,000 feet is pretty far.
Yeah, the Earth has been around for a long time, and each layer is some different world that's been covered up, and who knows what was going on in those worlds. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Form these structures that are made of elements.
oh yeah. Red, since you've kind of emerged here, I want to ask you, do you have one element that you would choose to highlight on the periodic table? Okay. Combination element. So sodium chloride.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sodium chloride, big fan.
Yep. I'm a little salty at your answer, but we'll accept it. Yes. This has been a fun one today. I don't think I mean, why not, right? Let's go. Let's go into diving depths. Is there anything that you learned from today's discussion, Chad?
I learned a lot more about well, and a lot more about plants too, and just how many elements plants really need and how much they need to intake. And it's fun to look at the elements that we need to intake. Yeah, H2O, seriously. Yeah. It's amazing to see these things that life needs, and the that not just that we need to take them in to keep building upon themselves, in the sense that we are built on them. We are elements, everything around us. And yeah, it's always really cool to get to see how much it really does have to be built, and to get to hear that about plants and our bodies fascinates me.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. I'd say, you know, just seeing the general amount of electrons and protons and neutrons and all this stuff. We're talking about thousands upon thousands of trillions of cells, or atoms that work together to create the world around us.
Yeah, I really liked to get to see them brought up. The pictures of the pictures of the atoms. It's fun to get to see them as I'm talking about them. Like, I haven't really gotten to do that before, but that was cool.
Yeah, it's and they're different, but they're all similar, their own ways. But it's amazing how much one number can change the structure of atomic nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red highlights a good point that we may not appreciate some individually, but combining it together, elements work compounded among each other.
Yes.
Those are truly the building blocks of society around us. Because most elements in their raw form don't really exactly do as much, because they're either part of a chemical reaction or a core function of a natural process, kind of like water.
Yeah.
Like H2O is used in all sorts of
Yeah, compounds get interesting. It would be, if we wanted to get in-depth chemistry, do a whole video on compounds. But yeah,
Yeah.
the
That's
it
true
was it
chemistry.
was fun. Yeah, it was fun to me. It was fun for me too to get to really like buckle down and look at the elements, the building blocks of the compounds. So that was what was also cool for me too. But we did reference a lot of compounds as we were talking because it's you can't mention elements without mentioning compounds and mentioning what they do.
Yeah,
That's why they're there. So even
yeah, precisely.
steel is a compound. It all comes
Exactly.
together.
Yeah, and what would life be without steel?
Yeah.
Man, it's changed lives right there. Just
Hmm.
the steel industry as a whole,
Yeah.
and that's something that you know some ancient cultures didn't even have any idea about.
Yeah.
And bronze was the name of the game, or different things like of that nature, or mercury.
Uh,
So,
One interesting thing I'll mention about steel really quick, kind of interesting culturally, is I've also been doing a little bit of research on North Sentinel Island, and something interesting about them is that they do actually use steel tools because at one point in the 1980s, I believe 1988, a cargo ship actually washed and beached itself on North Sentinel Island. So since the 1980s, they've been making tools out of the metal salvaged from this ship and handing them down throughout generations.
wow, that's crazy, actually.
Yeah, but I digress. I've just been getting really into so it's cool talking about this stuff too because I've been getting into really into ways that our ancestors have used minerals and stones and things around them to survive and to live. But
Well, if
one
you start trying to go to North Sentinel Island, I'll stop you. Okay.
yeah, I can't do that. Can't be doing that. Yeah, yeah. But uh one other honorable mention I did that we didn't talk about at all. Aluminum.
Oh yeah.
Aluminum is a neat metal, very very prolific in modern technology these days.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure. Let me check something. Yeah, several plants use aluminum.
Oh, see? I did not
Blueberries.
I had no idea. I had no idea that some plants needed aluminum in their diet. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it can affect plant growth, and it can stimulate it at lower concentrations and inhibit it at higher concentration. So,
Interesting.
like aluminum sulfate is often used to lower soil pH, making it more acidic. Um, so yeah, it's good for acid-loving plants,
Hmm.
which is why blueberries tend to do well with aluminum. Strange, really strange.
Plants and metal are cool.
Yes, but very neat, man. I think we had a good discussion today.
Mhm.
We'll go ahead and close ourselves out to um, where is it? Reflections Retreat. So I just kind of, now that we're at the midway point of the year, is there anything you really found exciting about the first part of this year? Did you have you enjoyed the recording process so far?
I can honestly say that I really have. This has been a really fun thing that I really enjoy getting to do. I really like getting to speak on these things that I've taken in and learned about, and it helps shape my understanding of the world, getting to have this discussion with people. So, I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, I'm happy to hear that, and I too have been enjoying this. We have slowed down a bit in the last 2 months just due to the hectic nature of the summer,
Yeah.
but we're perfectly arranged to keep doing recordings and keep pushing more content. At this point, I know I need to get the survival podcast part 2 up, but we're still on course to get that going. Hopefully, within the next week here, just tightening up on some work and get some projects done. So
Yep.
stay tuned on that, and we will be working on getting you guys some more interviews in the coming months as well. I look forward to that, and I appreciate you coming here, Chad and Red, and being part of today's show. So it's been a lot of fun, and until the next time, we will see you again. Thanks, guys.